Assalamu alaikum friends. I hope you people are fine. So today we are going to talk about COVID-19 and possible questions which come in the CSS exam. It is very important topic in the perspective of English essay, current affairs, even Pakistan affairs. Apart from that, some other subjects can also include this topic. For example, if someone has opted sociology, so it is related to the sociological impacts on the society. So there is a possibility that they will also bring that COVID-19. Even if someone is someone has opted international relations, so there is a possibility that COVID-19 will come in the perspective of globalization. And if someone is having a history as a subject, so it is also possible that it will come about the role of United States in countering the COVID-19 domestically and internationally. But anyway, we will talk about the possible areas from which questions can come. So first of all, we need to look at the domestic issues. For example, what were the impacts of COVID-19 on the education sector? Apart from that, what was the impact of COVID-19 on the health sector? What were the impact of COVID-19 on our industries, our export, import, and our all economy? Furthermore, questions are also possible from the response of government, the province federal relations, how they acted in the COVID-19. Apart from that, which I think there should be a question in Islamiyat as well about the COVID-19, because although most of religious scholars, moderate scholars, they supported the lockdowns and whatever the precautionary measures were given by the doctors about COVID-19, but some extremist elements were there who were opposing these lockdowns and that precautionary measures. So questions can also come in Islamiyat, that what are the instructions about such infectious diseases, about epidemics, endemics in the Islam. So you need to remember some specific hadiths, and I think these are very famous by Prophet Muhammad and others incidents from the era of Hazrat Umar when that plague was being present in the world. So it can come in multiple subjects. It can also come in a multiple ways. It will not come directly as in general way. For example, if you are talking about education, so it may come in English essay as the impact of COVID-19 on education sectors, what were the prospects and what are the challenges. It can also come in the Pakistan affair or in the current affairs, that what were the impact of COVID-19 on education. So first of all, you need to have some basic statistic, that what are the number of children out of school. So in Pakistan, unfortunately, almost 22 million children are out of schools. So this is very big number. But even in COVID-19, almost 50 million children were out of the schools for almost 6 to 7 months. So this is big loss, and many children who are from the lower class families, so it is also possible that they will never return to school, and that 22 million figure will get increase. Apart from that, the good thing is that for the first time Pakistan has tried to implement online education system. So this was an opportunity which we availed, but there were certain challenges in online education as well, I think. So this is very important, and it can come in English essay as well as in other subjects as well, particularly the online education. So generally you must have idea that what is the online education system, what were the mediums we used for the online education system, like for example Zoom, Google Chrome, Google Classroom, and WhatsApp, and some other apps which we used for the online education systems. Then what were the problem, uh, in implementation of the online education? Oh, first and foremost was that availability of net. We have not covered the whole Pakistan uh, through our 4G and 3G networks, particularly Fata and that Balochistan. Some backward areas of Sindh are still waiting for the 4G services. Yesterday, I think Mr. Khan went to one eye and he announced that we are going to start 4G in the Waziristan and Fata area as well. So that's good news. But anyway, before that, in Corona, we had no access to the 4G and 3G services. So automatically, the students who were belonging to those areas, they had no access to internet. So that's one thing. Another one is that people don't have that much money. Everyone can't afford a smartphone, and everyone can't afford a laptop, and some people can't afford internet connection. So these were problems. Apart from that, there are some people who do not allow the girls to have the internet connection or mobile phones. So it had impacts on the women education as well. So this way, one can build his arguments about the problems of education. And another things area is that students were not trained, teachers were not trained to operate that online education apps. So this was also our biggest problem. Another thing was that there is a lot of chance in assessment of students and taking exams. So this was also a challenge. And in the same way, you can talk about the health sector of Pakistan. We already have a shortage of almost 2 lakh doctors. That is very interesting figure and very big figure as well, that we still need 2 lakh more doctors in Pakistan. Apart from that, we need 1.4 million more nurses in the system in order to make our health system better and effective. In the same manner, as per the UNDP and international standards, there should be one doctor per 1,000 patients. But in Pakistan, this number is, according to some facts, it's more than 1,600. According to some, it's 1,300. But we will take it, accept the average figure. For example, in Pakistan, per doctors, we have more than 1,300 or 1,400 patients. So this is also a very big number. And per bed, we have more than 1,600 patients. So these are the situation of our. This is the situation of our health department. Health department and educational department both are underfunded. We are not giving them enough money to meet their expenses and to maintain their equipments and infrastructure. So first of all, even before the start of COVID-19, that was the situation of health sector. So after COVID-19, Pakistan faced tremendous challenges in the shape of the PPEs. PPEs were not enough. Even for the doctors were striking in KP and different provinces that we don't have even face masks, that N95 masks. So these were the situations in COVID-19. And the last question, which can come about, we discussed two things, economy and education in a bit, just not in detail, but just to build an idea. Then coming to the industries and to the employment sectors, Pakistan already have a lot of unemployed youth. So as a result, the people who were working in informal sector, they lost their jobs, particularly the small scale and medium scale industries. They fired most of their employees. So as a result, employment rate got increased. And these things are interrelated with the food security, with the health and everything. If a person do not have the money, so he will face definitely shortage of food. He will his family, and he will face with the malnutrition. In the same manner, if someone don't have money, how he can afford education, how he can afford health. So these are things you can discuss. plus, in order to prepare the topic of COVID-19, please prepare topics for the each sector separately. For example, in terms of the health, how was the situation of Pakistan and how Pakistan tried to cope with this challenge. In the term of education sector, how Pakistan responded, and what are the ground realities, ground facts. In the same way, the industries, how it impacted our economy, our industries, our manufacturing industries, our agriculture, and all these stuff. So these are different areas which every student is going to CSS or PMS must cover. Then you can talk about the government response. There were a lot of problems between center and provinces. Han government was trying to implement the smart lockdown, while Sindh government was in favor of complete lockdown. So there were some tussles in the center and province as well. You can mention that. Apart from that, you guys know that education and health are now the uh, provincial subjects after 18th amendment. So federal was not able to implement or compel provinces to follow uh, their orders strictly. Particularly Sindh was creating problem. And apart from that, Mr. Khan led government announced the SAS program, in which 12,000 was given to 144 million, I think, families across Pakistan. Uh, Also, check the figures. I'm not sure that it's correct or not, but 12,000 was given per family according to SAS program, but that was not enough, and it is not. These are short term techniques, and mid term and long term. These things are not going to work. So this was government response. They also implemented smart lockdown, and according to Mr. Khan and his team, they're saying that worldwide they received a lot of appreciation. So this was brief discussion about the COVID-19, its impact on different sectors, and strategy to attempt this question in exam. So in nutshell, whatever is coming about COVID-19, everyone is requested to prepare different angles of COVID-19. And if you are a student of international relations or political science, or any subject which is dealing with the international relations, you need to study the impact of COVID-19 on globalization, whether it was complementing globalization or reducing globalization. Apart from that, policies of the governments, they are getting protectionists, are there, they will move toward the free trade. In term of economy, that most of the countries are thinking about changing their supply chain tactics, their strategies of supply chain. So so these are one need to study COVID-19 in terms of domestic issues, um, economically, socially, and religiously. And in terms of the international politics, international relations, one need to understand the impact of mm, COVID-19 on the globalization, and also its impact on the world order, because US literally begged from the role of leadership. They Mr. Trump tweeted against WHO, and they literally withdrew from WHO. So these are different areas in which one need to work on and go to the paper then. I hope you people enjoyed this lecture, and you people understood what I was trying to convey. Thank you very much. Keep me in your prayers, and if you have any other confusion, any topic, please put it in the comment box. I will try to make a video on that. Thank you very much.